obviously this is not what the objectives are, but we're taking a flashback to how we do divide and what they can look like. Sometimes they're written as fractions, sometimes they're written as 125 with the division symbol, okay, divided by 5, okay? So when we did this way back when, maybe elementary, I'm not sure when it is that you learned this, but this number goes inside the divisor. Okay, so 125 is here. 125 is being divided by 5. So this number goes inside, this number goes outside. Okay, when we divided, we would always look at, can it go into 1? No, it can't. Can it go into 12? How many times? 2. So we write the number up above, right? You remember that. Okay, and then really what you're doing is you're going this times this, which gives me 10, but do we add them or subtract them? So really what we're doing, we're switching the signs, right? Because 5 times 2 is a positive 10. Well, we don't leave it, we switch it, okay? So then we subtract it, and then you bring down the next number, okay? And then we do it again. Now it's 5 going into 25, which goes in there 5 times, right? So then 5 times 5 gave me 25, but I switch it, right? And then I bring it down, and there's no more to bring down, so it went in there evenly, right? There's no more remainder, there's no more numbers to come down. So we kind of remember that, hopefully. Okay. Everybody needs to still write that. I'm just going to make room for this one. Okay. So now, just a little bit different. Similar, but different. Okay, so this number goes on the inside. Okay, this number goes on the outside, and we're doing the same thing, but it's just obviously not going to go in there evenly. Okay, so we start here, we would go 2. So 2 times 5 gives me 10, but I switch the sign. Okay, this comes down, I bring down the next number. 5 can go into 23 4 times, right? So really what you're doing is going 4 times the 5, which would make it 20. And we switch the sign, and then subtract it, and then there's no more to come down. So we say that this is our remainder. Okay, that's one way that you've written it. So remainder of 3. Another way that you'll see it for this section, and we're going to tie this into variables, is this would be the same thing, so I want you to write it off to the side, as writing it as 24 and 3 is the numerator, and then what's on the outside is your denominator. Okay, just so you have that to refer back to. And you'll see what I'm talking about when we go through the variables. So that, which is on the left, is the same as what's on the right. Okay, it just wouldn't go, 3 couldn't be divided by 5 anymore. Okay, we were done. That was our remainder. Okay, you remember that from grade school, maybe? Maybe middle school, I don't know. Okay, so now we are actually going to try it. Doing the same thing, but we're going to apply what we learned with regular numbers now to polynomials or expressions. Okay? So write this one down. And again, I hate saying should have because everybody's in a different spot. But you should have learned this last year with IMAC if you had, 2 years ago with you guys. With IMAC. I know I reviewed it in the springtime, but then with COVID, we're good? Okay, so remember the top number goes inside the divisor. Inside the divisor, just like that. 4x to the second plus 2x plus 5. The bottom number goes on the outside, so this is x plus 2. Okay, I'm going to scoot this down because we really don't need to see that anymore. We rewrote it. Okay, so order and steps that you're doing this is we always look at the first one with the first one. Okay, so it's the first expression being divided by the first expression. So this is what it looks like. So write this out. You'll start to be able to do these in your head, not have to write it out. But I'm going 4x squared is being divided by x. So if you had a problem just like this and I asked you to simplify it, what would the answer to that be? Just 4x, right? Because this is like having 1 here, and then we subtract our variables. So this would be 4x. Okay, so that is what you're writing in the first spot. So far? Okay, so remember when we had the 2 and then the 5 was out here, we did what with those 2 to write what we write down below here? What did we do with that 2 and the 5? We multiplied, right? Okay, so that's what we're doing here. We are multiplying this, but there's not just one number here, there's more than one number here, so when I multiply it, it's like distributing. I need to multiply it to both of these, okay? So 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times 2 would make it 8x. Okay, remember when we had 25 and 25? We didn't add them, we what? Subtracted them. Okay, so what we need to do is switch our signs always. Okay, so that gets rid of this, right? 4x minus 4x. But here we're going to have a negative what? Okay. And then you bring down your next thing. Okay, now we just started that process over again. So I'm taking the first one divided by the first one. So it looks like this. It's negative 6x is being divided by x. What would that simplify down to be? Negative 6. So negative 6 goes up to the top. Okay, and it's a negative. Okay, but now I'm doing the same thing that I did with the 4x. Okay, I've got to distribute this negative 6 to both of them. I'm not going to draw those lines because it's going to be too much there. Okay, so a negative 6 times x would be a negative 6x. And a negative 6 times 2 would be a negative 12. What do I got to do with my signs? Switch them. So it will switch to the opposite. Okay? Because we want to get rid of that first one. Okay? So that cancels out, but that would leave what? 17. Okay, and there's no more to bring down, and we can't divide 17 by 4x squared. Okay, so this is going to be my remainder of 17. Okay, so your answer is 4x minus 6 with a remainder of 17, or you could write it as 4x minus 6, 17 would be at the top. Okay, so 4x minus 6, 17 is at the top. What would be below that? X plus 2. And the only reason why I'm showing you this is because when you're going to do the exercise, they kind of go back and forth between writing r with a remainder or writing it as a fraction. Okay? So that denominator just means I can't go further. I can't divide 17 by x plus 2. Okay, I'm going to try to have less lines on this next one. Okay, ready? Okay, bless you. Okay, so just written a little bit different, okay, but it's the first one that's being divided by the second one. So this goes inside the divisor just like normal, okay. So a negative x to the third minus 2x plus 7, and then this goes on the outside. Okay, the first is being divided by the first. So this is really a negative x to the third that is being divided by x. What would that be? Negative x squared. Okay, so remember I write that on the top. So it's negative x squared. Okay, so now remember, this gets distributed to what's on the outside. So this times this. If you do it right, these should always match up. So if they don't match up, you did something wrong. Because that's your pattern that you're trying to do. Okay, so that times that should be the same as this, which it is. That times that gives me a negative x squared. Anybody see anything wrong here? Yes. Yeah, there's not an x squared. You can't subtract something that's not from a like term. Okay, so I purposely did this. We won't do this on the next one. So just right below it, we need to rewrite this because you need to have descending order. It didn't went from x to the third to an x. There should be an x squared in between. Okay, It'll be a quick fix, so don't erase it, because you need to know what we did. Okay, so the x plus 1 is still on the outside. Inside, it's a negative x to the third, but there wasn't an x squared, so we put it as a 0x squared. We're just using it as place value. There's not an x squared there, but we need it so that we can line up. So it goes 3, 2, and then 1. So if you can catch it before you write them, just check to see if they're in descending order. I'm going to scoot that up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this now. So the negative x squared, that part was fine, which gave me a negative x to the third. And then that times that gave me a negative x squared, but we've got to switch. Okay, that goes away. This is just going to come down as x squared, and then you bring your next one down. Okay, first with first. So it's x squared being divided by x. It's just what? X. Positive x. Okay, what do I need to do now? Distribute it to what's on the outside. So x times x is x squared. Remember, they should match up, which they do. And then x times 1 is just going to be 1x. Okay, now what do I need to do? Switch signs. So negative. That cancels out. That's going to give me a negative 3x. Okay, gotta scoot that up. Okay, so a negative 3x, and I still had something to bring down. Okay, so my last one, this being divided by that. So a negative 3x being divided by x would be a negative what? What is a negative 3x divided by x? Negative 3. Okay. Oh, did I forget to write one up here? I did. I forgot to write that up there. Plus there. Oh, no, it's right there. I was like, it's not up there. So negative 3. Okay, notice we're descending. There's a 2, a 1, down to none. So we know we're getting our right pattern. Okay, now we just need to figure out if there's going to be a remainder. So negative 3 needs to get distributed to what's on the outside. Okay, so that to that. So a negative 3 times x is a negative 3x. A negative 3 times 1 is a negative 3, but I've got to what? Switch my signs. So switch. Okay, that goes away. What is my remainder? 10. Okay. And again, I don't care when you're doing it on your own, like how you write it. But if it was a fraction, it'd be 10 over x plus 1. If you see it on the exercise up right here. Okay, so as long as you can start memorizing the pattern and what you're doing, and remember to switch your signs and actually know how to divide, then you should be fine. Okay, so I'm going to have you try this one. Right off the bat, what are you noticing? It's out of order, okay? And we also need to have what? Just like the last one. The second, it's not in descending order. So when you go to write it, so I'm just helping you set it up. I need to rewrite this. So it'd be 3x to the third plus what? 0x squared. So there's your 3, there's your 2. So the next thing would be 6x. And then a minus 2. Now it's in the order it's supposed to be in. But on the outside, it should be what? Right. 3x. Now it's okay, so let's try it and we'll see how you do. actually, I numbered this one wrong. Put this as number 5, not as number 3. Sorry. It was third column. Third column number 5. Okay. We'll find out. Oh no, I did write the wrong one. Crap. It is number 3. I meant to be number 5. I have 5 written on my notes. Oh, well.
My roommate is really tired, so.
Okay, let's try this one. I have 5 written on here. I meant to be number 5. I do have 5 written on it. But I didn't. I meant to be number 5. Okay.
Like the higher
But yeah, it makes you question. Okay, we good, or do I need to do that one? Want me to do it? Okay. Okay, so this is being divided by this, right? So 3x to the third is being divided by 3x. So the 3's go away, right? Which we want to subtract that, which should be x squared. So you go to that part. Okay, so distributing it back to here. So remember, it should always match what's originally first there, okay? And then that times that would make it 9x to the second. Okay, switch. Okay, that goes away. This just comes straight down, so it'll be a negative 9x squared. And then the next thing comes down, so plus 6x. So now start over. This divided by that. So negative 9x squared divided by 3x. 9 divided by 3 is going to be 3, and then there's still a x left. Good? Okay. And it was negative, so negative 3x. So negative 3 times this would make, and again, it should match before you switch the signs. And then that times that would give me a negative 27x. Okay, switch. Okay, so the x squared goes away, so 27 and 6 would be 30, 12, 33. Yes? Okay, so, and then you gotta still bring down the 2. Yeah, just trying to squeeze this. Okay, now we're going 33 divided by 3x. So 33 divided by 3 would make it 11, and the x's canceled each other out. So now distributing 11 times 3 would be 33x. And then 11 times 9, right? 99?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's a positive 99, so you would switch it to a negative 99. So you have a negative 99 and a negative 2, and that's what got you to the negative 1. See what we did? Okay. No? You don't know what you're doing? Okay. Okay. So, this is really short. It's been a long time since I've did something this short. Okay. So I did 3 of them. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Try on your own.